Hello and welcome to Paper Tuesdays. Michael Dwyer, Marc Halpin, Robbie Dunn, Shane Halpin.
Yes, hi Marc, you're wearing glasses.
Michael's glasses. I like them now, they're very nice. I wouldn't be one for sunglasses, but
Yeah.
I think it suits my overall attire. I have the pineapples on, it feels like I'm in Malaga.
Marc, you're a man of the persona, really. You know, Detective Pancake, and now I don't know what you are. It's
like
Afraid to Stare or something. I don't know.
Miami or very Miami vibes.
Yeah. Do you remember your man? Do you actually do it? Oh, no, sorry. You know, in CSI Miami when there's some kombucha in the fridge. You know?
yeah. What's his
sorry,
name?
Miami has it. I don't know. Yeah.
Tune in, or let us know if you know who the man is exactly.
I'd say Brie Brown and all the tick. We have Róisín of Kinsella here, RKCakesAndBakes. How are you, Róisín?
I'm good, and yourself?
We're mighty.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Living like 365
Actually,
now.
no, we're not.
We're not?
Mm.
What's up?
We were shook up last night. I was anyway.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So,
If you had saw the colour of Robbie Dunn and my jocks,
I'd say you got an awful fry.
I
Because
did
you
that.
were waiting on my correspondence and I didn't text back for like 2 hours.
I said tips for Marc. It's undelivered now, and we're just gonna have to sleep on this. I was so nervous. Ash's the girlfriend's sister goes, "It's all right, Michael. It's all right." And I suppose they wouldn't have known that I was in a scary last night. Like context. Sorry, you're listening. Yeah. So this Republican page
Text me. So I was just getting ready for bed there last night. It was about 11 o'clock or that, and I was just getting ready to get into bed, and I looked at my phone. I had a DM on Instagram from this Republican page. I'll read out the messages because I only sent you the first one, but then there was more correspondence with them.
And did it get more frightening?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a text yesterday it was 9:30. I got the text, but I didn't check my phone. So I got a message from a Republican page saying, "We're looking at your podcast. Be careful, lads. Full stop." I text back saying, "What do you mean?" Oh no, first I took a screenshot, sent it into our group chat, and then didn't respond for like 2 hours. And then I sent back, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're a silly C word. We see you and Michael talking shite." I said, "What were we saying?" He said, "We heard you mouthing about the Ra. We know where you live, Castletown." And I was rocked, like. I was
Really?
like, what have I said about the Ra? Like, sure.
And what was Brie with you for this?
Yeah, she was.
She was
comforting
okay.
me. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And no, genuinely, I genuinely was shook up by this, like, because I don't know this page. It's a page, and they have like 50,000 followers.
Yeah, what I find frightening is they follow no one.
They follow no one. Yeah. But I actually, I follow this page because they share historical images of Belfast during the Troubles, things like that, and I like them because there's good pictures there, like.
Yeah.
And so
James will get you on that. It seems like very historical.
On
content.
this, it's all historical content, and then. After a while, I sent back another message explaining that, look, I am not a unionist, whatever, I support Irish history and things like that. And then they came back with a video, and a fella I know was with the fella who runs this page, and they were taking the piss, they were on the beer, and it was a practical joke on me.
Well, they got us.
Yeah.
They did
and
get us.
it was my own fault because I called one of the lads who was with him a bitch earlier in the day. I kind of deserved it, but like I was shook up. And you probably were as well. I only thought about that afterwards.
I was at this time, but sure. But you were kind of...
They were coming after me.
Sure.
I wonder why they took... Yeah.
Sure, look. Yeah.
It's well to have anything.
It's a good reminder, though, to be we're not going to be careful.
No, we're not.
Sorry. But I tell you what, I'm actually excited about this. There's this story, Marc, that you sent into the thing about Father Arthur O'Leary. Shout out to Father Arthur. He lived 1780 to 1800s, so he's long dead now. Fair play to Arthur. R.I.P. So, Marc, this is the man who was holidaying, well, back then when you were intellectual usher, you'd go on a grand tour of the continent and you'd go off and you'd dilly-dally and you'd write diary entries on the quay in northern France. And here he was writing his diary, only he saw this bear. It's the bear.
Yeah.
And he was he was on a massive leash and an owner with him.
Yeah.
And he could point at the time. And he could wave back at people. And anyway, so this is the entertaining bear. And the priest was just kind of taken with this, and he was writing in his diary. And then a few days later, after a tour of neighbouring villages in northern France, they came back to where they were. And anyway, the bear started getting tired. And when the owner started poking him with a stick, then he got up, the bear, roared at his owner, and started roaring in Irish about the devil and stuff. And then the priest heard him and goes over to the bear and goes, Honest a thought to a cara. And the bear goes back, Gama, Gorav Mahagut. And anyway, the priest then goes to the mayor of the village and he says there's an Irishman in that bear. And the owner runs away and leaves the bear, and they cut open the bear skin, and out pops a naked Waterford man. So it turned out that the naked Waterford man was he was on a boat from Cork to Bilbao in Spain, shipwreck, Dorney, and he then has to hang on to a cargo box to try, and he's in the ocean, and then fishermen find him. They take advantage of him because they found him, and they say, we're going to put you into this bear skin now. And he was asked then, how did this make you feel? And he said, I didn't mind because I was well fed. So the Waterford man with only Irish didn't mind being in the bear costume. Or it wasn't a costume because there was no getting out of this. You slept in it, you pissed in it, you did everything in it.
It was a real bear skin.
Yeah,
wasn't
like
it?
he was...
That's why, because you would, if it was a kind of a costume, you'd sort of assume like, oh, this is a bear costume. Like it was a real bear he was living inside of.
I'd say
That's
the
tough.
smell of
I
that.
doubt they disinfected the inside of it first.
No, I doubt they did.
Jesus, was it John Milan? Imagine John Milan popped out.
Yeah. Well, what do you make of all that now?
It's a fascinating story, isn't it?
It is, because every single letter that paper chooses is true, which is mad. It's not, none of that is fiction.
What year did you say this was in?
1780.
1780. That is
Or so.
mental, isn't it? Yeah. Jesus.
The fact that it was pure native Irish speaker. And do you know what I love, Mark? It kind of ties into something we've discussed before.
Yeah.
How the economy. He was going over with a boat of cod to Bilbao. So he was bringing his skills of the fish to Bilbao.
Yes.
Like, there was he wasn't working for a company or anything. And this was how the economy worked. And you would never think of this, that's what is involved. It's like you baking cakes, Róisín, and deciding, no, I'm going on an expedition now to, I don't know, Donegal, and you're just going to bring your cakes up there. It's mad, isn't it? To think that's how trade develops, and eventually then, I don't know how you describe it. But anyway, sorry, Mark, this is linked then to the example that you gave me of, do you remember you were explaining
how economy
it
thrives.
started off with some lads looking for nails, and then,
how prosperity evolved.
Yeah.
That it's why sort of we don't kill each other. There's not major warfare and stuff like that, because we can offer things to each other through specialization of trade. And that's why, like, Ireland is of use to other countries, and that's why we're not overtaken or oppressed or things like that. We're actually very good in that sense. We can export cattle because we have such good grass. The sheiks and stuff bring their horses up to Kildare, don't they? Like we do. We have a lot to offer to other countries, so we prosper fairly well as a small island.
I like when you pair back the example and you give the idea that, you go off and spend a few days in work because then you can pay money for electricity.
Yeah.
So it's this idea that we specialize in one thing and then we don't have to specialize in everything.
Yeah. So if you were completely self-sufficient, what you would do, say it was just you lived in a little hut in a field, you would have to go out, catch your own food. That would take, maybe 2 hours. You have to bring it home, skin it, cook it. That's another 2 to 3 hours. Then you'd have to light a fire. You'd have to, wash whatever the fuck you were doing in your own house. Like, you'd have no free time, but you'd be self-sufficient. Whereas if you become proficient in one thing and offer that to the community or to the wider group of people, those people are specializing in other things. Like, there's other people creating the electricity, there's other people looking after the water, there's other people entertainment on Netflix, things like that. So I don't have to spend the time trying to find entertainment for myself. I just spend my time doing what I can to offer that to other people, so they don't have to do what I'm doing. You benefit from other people's specialization, so you, through your own specialization, can benefit other people as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting. The curveball in all of this, though, I think, is China. Because because if you think that everyone loves Ireland and we have skills and we give them off to the sheiks and whatever, but China is kind of developing its own monopoly, and it doesn't need the reciprocity. Oh, Janie Mac. The Malaga effect. The reciprocity of dealing with other countries.
Yeah. But you see, then the people there aren't entirely self-sufficient either, are they?
No.
Yeah.
So the same principle applies. that
Yeah.
how China relates it within itself.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A communist sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Beautiful Bantry. There was an article there in a Cork newspaper. The past weekend there has seen a West Cork socially distant festival where they welcomed visitors for the Bantry. Well, it was either the walking festival, but if you were very acute eye and you wouldn't only adhere to whatever was on your, your news media, you'd say that it was the Bantry Wanking Festival. Because that was the misprint in the local newspaper, and it's the popular undertaking of endurance that takes place in West Cork every year. That's the quote in the newspaper. So, yes, plenty of wankers or walkers roaming the fields of Bantry there. Quite the feast of entertainment, I'm sure.
I'm sure it was. I wouldn't like to be in the cleanup committee after that one. Oh, when was that? This week?
Yeah, just the bank holiday weekend. We missed it. Yeah,
we missed it.
Yeah, we missed it.
Ah, Jesus. Should we control our own Paper Tuesdays?
Paper Tuesdays Walking Festival.
Walking Festival,
We'd have to charge into it anyway, yeah. Two for... Would you bake the cakes for the Walking Festival?
We'll supply the icing.
I don't like being the only girl in the room right now.
In other news, Ingrid Miley has retired from RTE. Best of luck, Ingrid. From all of us Namist. Yeah, we wish her well. But I love the advice she gave her colleague, right? Know your shit and then no one will care about your wrinkles. I think there's a lot to be said for that. That if you are a journalist and, or anyone, if you know your shit, it doesn't matter about your appearance. If you know how to bake a fucking cake, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, is there a lot to be said for that?
There is.
Judging it on the quality of the output.
Yeah.
Judging it on, what's the phrase that we use now? Like, rewarding,
merit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is what's most important, isn't it? Like what you can offer the world.
Yeah.
Your looks are going to fade. Everyone's is going to fade,
Yeah.
All this fucking like Instagram models and things like that, like it's not sustainable, is it? Like you need to have a skill or a talent or a level of intelligence to be able to operate your way through the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Róisín, what goes in, when did you start baking cakes?
Well, like I set up the business there the week before Easter.
Yeah.
And I just kind of set it up because my sister got on to me, so I can't eat dairy or gluten. So my sister got on to me and she was like, why don't you just set up, some cakes or, selling little cupcakes and stuff like that, because, it's the new trend now to be vegan and to things like that. And parents aren't going to really find a vegan birthday cake or a dairy-free birthday cake for someone's 21st or 18th, one of those big cakes.
Yeah.
So my sister was like, you'd have some sort of business there. Like, parents aren't really going to understand where to get things like that. So I just set up with Easter boxes to start off, and then you were my very first customer.
Really?
With, your first customer on a cake. And then it kind of just took off from there, out of nowhere. Before that, I didn't really bake. Like, I baked for myself. Say if it was a birthday, or say if I was going to an event and I knew there was going to be like treats at it that I couldn't eat, I might bring like some, I don't know, brownies or little like cupcakes or something like that, just along for everyone to eat, but I knew I could pick on it as well. But then it just kind of took off, and it's not as if I'm getting, what I set out to be, as in dairy-free cakes or gluten-free cakes or anything like that. I'm just getting normal, like, cakes. And it's just took off completely, which I'm completely shocked about.
There's a demand there, and that's what's interesting, like you're filling a gap, or you're providing a service as such.
I really didn't think there was. I just kind of done it for like the crack, like just, especially during COVID, and I'm not in work at the moment, like my work's closed. So I'm just kind of sitting around, and I was like, well, at least, it's keeping me busy. But it's like non-stop. And originally it was kind of just weekends, and then it started getting weekdays, and it's just constantly every day.
Yeah.
You're, providing something, whether it's, just like friends meeting up and you want a few cupcakes or like a barbecue or something like that, or it's a birthday, or with Father's Day coming up now as well. Like you're getting a demand, and then communions, confirmations.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting the dates for communions already, and I'm like, I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah. And when do you enjoy baking? Do you enjoy, the process of baking a cake? Like what goes into it?
I do, like, I enjoy it. It's stressful. I'm what I'd say a perfectionist when it comes to cakes.
Right.
So if I had a cake there that was due on Friday, and I done it on Thursday evening, and I didn't like it. I did not like how it turned out.
Yeah.
So I woke up Friday morning and redone the whole thing.
Right.
Because I just did not like how I'd how I'd done it or whatever.
Yeah.
I just redone the whole thing. So I like the process of it, but it does get stressful when it comes to me being a perfectionist on how it looks.
Yeah.
But once, like, when I give it to a customer and the customer's happy, that's a reward to me.
Yeah.
Like, I really like when, I give to someone's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is amazing. Like, thank you so much. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you.
Cool.
I actually done something good.
That's satisfaction. Mark, do you ever bake?
Have I ever baked? We baked. Did we used to make pizzas with Pat and Helen. Did you remember that?
Yeah, I think there was one, like you did go through a phase of getting like Betty Crocker.
Did I?
Like a week you had a few packets around and then you think you made one batch of cupcakes and like left it at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got an
Attempted
right.
it.
I started skateboarding last night, actually. That's my new
did
thing.
you?
Yeah.
Okay,
So Brie got me a skateboard now. Yeah. I'm very prone to that now.
What's involved in the skateboard? How do you find it?
Oh, it's grand, sure. It just takes fucking pushing your leg off, I suppose, and standing on top of it. And I don't know. I think
I saw the skateboard and I was like, oh, I want to go on the skateboard. Like, this is going to be great crack. Put my foot on it. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this.
It's scary enough.
It
like,
is scary.
You can fall off.
The simplest things, I know Mark, we were training on Friday and you with the box jump.
Yeah,
and that was mad.
Yeah.
That was mad.
Yeah.
Like, basically, you were trying to leave the ground with both feet at the very same time. But then hit the box at the same time. Wasn't able to do it. And it will take a practice of
once
trying,
you get the box jump once you get it once, you've got it.
Yeah.
But it's the thought of going into the box jump.
Yeah.
And actually trying to land with your 2 feet on it without hitting or falling.
Yeah.
But once you get it once, it just like automatically goes.
There's a lot of trust in it, all right.
There is, because you can scrape your knees off the edge of it, and that will happen.
Right.
It will happen. You will cut your knees.
You
off
will fall at some
Did you ever
stage.
do horse riding?
Once, yeah.
Once?
Yeah.
They said you had to fall 7 times before you were a good enough horse rider.
A horse.
Yeah.
Sure,
I fell 3 or 4 times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did it
I
hurt?
liked it now. Did it hurt? No, not really. No, you're falling on sand. No, you're falling 3 or 4 feet. And no, it wouldn't be a whole lot.
You can break yourself up though. You get caught in the reins. There's a fella I heard a story of. He was drinking up in Coolgraney one night, and he brought the horse up. He was on the horse and he was driving the horse home drunk, and he fell off the horse about halfway home, and he got caught in the reins, and the horse brought him the whole way home, dragged him along the ground. He's fine now.
Anyway.
Yeah, wasn't bother on him.
And the horse knew where to go. Like,
Yeah.
I was reading Mark Patrick Hedderman's book yesterday.
Shout out
to Mark, the monk himself. And I was reading it in a car park and in Dublin. And there were bits in it that I actually burst out laughing. Oh no, it wouldn't be funny. Only I had the door wide open. So anyway, there was a bit that I took a photo of here, and it's a bit relevant. So there was this woman in 1921, and she wrote home to some gentleman, and she said, I'm looking forward tremendously to returning to Ireland in March. I'll ride up to see you directly when I get home. And then there's a note at the bottom. We walk here in the morning, and it was of a lovely place in Paris. But I give anything for a ride. And then he goes on to say, if a young lady of Winning Barrington's background in education happens to scrawl in 1921 on the front of an open postcard that she would give anything for a ride, we cannot interpret this with any of the lurid and all-knowing consciousness of 21st century voyeurs. Such an innocent greeting to a groom who kept horses in the district around Glenstall can in no way suggest any hint of romance. I love the qualification there, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine him saying it.
Yeah, everything. Every single word was like, this is how he said it. Yeah. Oh gosh, she's gas. Yeah.
We may go down to Glenstall Abbey.
I think so.
That'd be a great link.
There's just so much entertainment there. Like, he's just a gas ticket. He's told one story of how when he was thinking about going into the monastery that this woman demanded an interview with him, this local woman, and she had a lisp or something. She couldn't pronounce her R's or her W's. And she goes to him, she sits down the 18-year-old and goes, you see this? This is a brazier. It's a brazier, right? When you've taken off 2 or 3 of those, you can go into that prison. But you have to take off, as in go off now and spend some time with a few women before you go off becoming a monk. And he just ran away frightened. So, what a tale! What a tale! And then to add to it, that same woman was convinced that she was De Valera's half sister. So there's a hell of a lot that we need to explore with Marc Petrick Hedman.
I think so. He's a nugget, isn't he? Like,
oh, that's.
Do you? I know, right? So you like religion. You have religion as part of you.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider a role as a religious minister?
Oh, there's a role as a
I can see you up on an altar.
Yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
I think you'd love it.
Yeah.
We'll just wait till we allow.
But
marriage. It's Asher sermons.
It's what?
It's Asher sermons.
No, it's both. You can be a deacon, and but like
Deacon Dwyer.
Deacon. It's about time that I let out one of these personas, but no, I'm well able for it because I think, like, life is messy and you need something to draw it all together. Rummy has that quote. Did you see it lately? I saw it on some Instagram page. That religion has love, but love is not in religion. But, love is everything. All religions have love. Yeah. But there's, it's not that there's a monopoly on love. And I'd be full into Rummy now and all that. I just think that, when we die, we don't want the case that like it's like that's it now. It's the end of your warranty and you go off. It's not like our corporate culture can satisfy that human yearning for something. I'm very going very wishy-washy now, but like look, that's just the way I feel.
Important. It's important to have some sort of connection with the sacred as well. You can't get lost in either though. You can't spend too much time thinking about the sacred and become a monk and like meditating all the time, because then you lose the connection to what life is and what's to be experienced. But then you get too caught up in your day-to-day life and making money and your status and things like that. Then you get caught up in that and you lose the sacred and you forget what the root of it all is as well. So I think it's important to sort of stay in the middle. Do you know?
Naval Ravikant has a great one of, he says there are 2 options really. You can go off becoming a monk, or you can view life as an iteration of games, that everything in life is a game, and that everything, in upskilling and absolutely everything. I think in looking back over our podcast in the last year, we have viewed it as an iteration of games. It's you buy the mics, then you buy the cameras, you just constantly move up and progress. And it's probably, I suppose the reason why we've lost it, or the reason why, because all of this is, you can't see it. You can't see progress in the ways that we're describing. I suppose you can when you look at mics and cameras, but you don't think of it at the time that, this is us leveling up. You just do it. Yeah. And there's a hell of a lot of wisdom in what Naval Ravikant has. So I think that's kind of linked to how you describe, you can either just meditate and ponder divine nature and what it is to be a human being, or you can go off and make a whole load of cash. Yeah.
What you're saying there, like, isn't this kind of when we started, when we said, "Jeez, wouldn't it be great if we could have like a studio set up somewhere and like have pictures on the walls and cameras and a setup?" And that's what we have now. And like back then, that was kind of like imagine if.
Yes.
And now it is. Yes. And I think we sort of you can lose appreciation for the things as you gather momentum with them as well.
Well, that's why your practice of daily gratitude is just so important, because gratitude and rejoice, joy, all of these words come back to give thanks, and give thanks is gratitude. There's a lot to be said for daily thinking of just, Janie, I have a hell of a lot to be grateful for. Grateful that I can write, grateful for that I can drink kombucha. It's just,
your nose isn't blocked.
And no,
you're grateful your nose isn't blocked.
Yeah.
Grateful you can use you only have 5 toes on each feet. Grateful your parents aren't cousins.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be thankful for.
There is.
Yeah.
I was going to draw this back in. I love doing this back. I love playing little games with myself where I say, how can I draw this now, connect it to something else? So we're talking now about religion and God and all this big fancy stuff,
big words, a lot of fucking hot air.
Whoa. I'm going to say that it's totally related to baking and cooking cakes, because when you're giving thanks and being totally in the present, that's what I feel anyway when I have a big dough in my hand and I'm stretching it out because I can only focus on what I have in my hands at that moment. I can only focus on...
Do it with us.
I can do it now at this stage. Like.
Yeah. And then you stand it up and you say...
That is the image of me baking a cake. That is exactly
Really?
how I bake a cake.
But have you ever made bread?
No,
No,
I actually
all right.
haven't.
I made sourdough
I've made
2 weeks
pizza
ago.
dough, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
it.
Well, it's very similar. Very similar.
It is. But I like it was hard. I had to get my mum involved. I tried, and I was like, this is not working out. Like, why is it just sticking to the hole? Like,
Yeah.
because it's really hard to knead it.
Yeah, it is.
It's really hard to knead it. My mum was like, just walk away. Just let me do it.
But-
Just let me do it.
Yeah.
So I
She-
just gave up, and she just went for it, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, how did that work? She was like, you just have to have patience, which
Yeah.
I do not have patience.
Right. Yeah.
So
But
I
there's a lot-
don't know if I could actually just go and bake bread. Like cakes is completely different.
Right. Yeah.
I was kind of scared. Sorry, I keep interrupting. I was
okay.
kind of scared of where you were dragging that into.
All right.
You were like, I'm going to bring this back. And I was like, where is he going with this? Where is this
Well,
going to
I
go?
suppose it isn't really connected to baking cake, but I just want to say that, like, when you are, that funny gesture that I'm doing there with the hands, that's really, like, I forgot where I was for those 10, 15 minutes when I was kneading the bread, because all you have to do is focus on getting it as light and fluff. I'm doing a different movement now with my hands. So
You're so concentrated in that moment. Like, you have to be just fully focused in actually doing it. Because if it's like when you're kneading, say, like was pizza dough, when you're kneading it, you have to do it quickly. And
Right.
if you're not doing it quickly enough, like it just sticks. Like you have, in order to get it into that like right kind of doughy texture, you have to just constantly keep going at it nice and quickly. But if you're not going quick enough, you're not in the moment, and therefore it takes a lot longer to actually do. I don't know if it's the same with bread now. I've never baked bread, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Oh, so it sounds similar, all right. Yeah.
About the gluten stuff, Róisín, and the dairy free, do you find like, what would be the after effects of you eating that, or how did you find out that you were intolerant?
So when I was a baby, I obviously don't remember, like, but when I was a baby, apparently I suffered with really bad reflux when I was a baby. And apparently, like, my mum always thought, like, I might be kind of intolerant to dairy a little bit. Because if I had a bottle, like, I couldn't be fed without, say, having an after effect or, you know, not being able to keep it down. That's probably the most disgusting thing ever. But not being able to keep it down. And then it kind of just went away throughout the years. And then I think it was 5th year or 6th year. And I started getting reflux again, but I obviously didn't understand what reflux was or what was kind of happening. And I went into the doctors, and I remember the doctors kept going to me being like, you know, maybe it's just like, you know, maybe you're hiccuping, or maybe you're, you know, I can't remember what they were saying to me. And I was like, I can't explain it now because it's not happening to me right now, but it happens sometimes. And I just like get this hiccupy burpy thing. And they were like, oh, maybe you're just making it up. Maybe you're thinking something's happening. And they were putting me on all this sort of stuff. And then in 6th year, I was getting really sick. Like I was getting like really, really bad colds, or I can't remember what I had, but my immune system was like completely low in 6th year. So mum decided to get my like blood tested. You know the way you can get like your allergy tests, and got that tested, and he was like, oh, you can't eat gluten or dairy. There was kind of like a level out of 1 to 5, and if you were closer to 5, that was how severe you were. And I think dairy, I was 4.5 out of 5, or 4 point something out of 5 anyway, and gluten, I was 4 out of 5. And he was like, you can eat it, but, you know, just be careful. And then since I completely cut it out now, obviously my body has become more intolerant out of it. So if I eat gluten or dairy, like reflux just acts up. I'm in really bad cramps. So I'd know straight away if I've eaten it. And it's just not worth it.
Have you ever gone gluten-free?
I tried it. I thought it was gluten-free. I wasn't. It was just one of the supplements I was taking was making me sick. I was taking these sort of like hemp supplements because you couldn't get CBD oil where I was, and I use it for sleep. So I was taking those, and it was making me sick. I tried cutting out everything. At one stage I was just eating meat and like leaves, and it was still making me sick. And I was like, look, it can't be this. Like, so I was booked for a colonic irrigation because I was so bad.
Okay.
Like I was getting horrible cramps in my stomach.
Right.
But it turned
It's
out
just like a pure knot in your stomach. Like
Yeah.
it's just really sore. It's not worth it.
yeah. But then I stopped taking supplements and that was it.
And did you have reflux?
No, I didn't have reflux.
Right.
It wasn't gluten. It wasn't. I eat everything now again.
Yeah. I have reflux a good bit. Well, when I'm more stressed and anxious, I have a lot more reflux. But it's very interesting in that, you know, they can give you tablets to try and make a gastro resistance, but
It doesn't
really
work.
isn't a whole lot that can do it.
You can't really solve it. Like, and I got really sick there. When was it? It was a couple of weeks, not weeks ago, a couple of months ago now. And we couldn't understand what was happening. Like, my reflux was really, really bad. And I mean, like, constant. And I hadn't eaten dairy, I hadn't eaten gluten, and I hadn't eaten anything different. So we were trying to figure out what it was. Doctors couldn't figure out. So they just put me on some sort of tablet. And they were like, oh, hopefully this works. But you just kind of have to go with it and hope that like a tablet or some sort of thing will ease it.
Yeah.
It's more so just easing it than getting it to kind of go, if that makes sense.
Do you know something interesting I read this
I'd
week?
love to.
So, your stomach produces just as much serotonin and acetylcholine and other neurotransmitters as your brain. And your brain, gut, you know all about gut health, sure, your kombucha and stuff
I'm
like
big
that.
into it, but I haven't actually read into it. But I know it feels right anyway.
Yeah, so apparently your gut brain and my belly is showing. Your gut brain and your head brain are connected by the vagus nerve.
Ah, yes,
right?
yeah.
And you have 100 million neurotransmitters in your intestines.
Whoa. Right.
It's crazy in the first place. But if you sever the vagus nerve,
Right.
the connection between the head brain and the stomach brain,
Yeah.
the stomach brain will still operate independently of your other brain.
Wow.
It will still keep producing those neurotransmitters
That's mad.
of
That's
itself.
really
So
interesting.
it's its own brain. You have two brains.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of connected to the way we think that the brain, like neuro is everything to do with the brain. But yet we think the brain is just in the head. But like there we go. The brain is all over your body. Like if you can be connected to the intestines.
It's in your gut, and that's sort of what they reckon, like when they say gut feeling.
Yeah.
That's your gut brain.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And how it feels.
Now, Dr. Tony,
Houlihan.
no, a different Dr. Tony. He's the founder of Headspace, and he's from Sligo. And he was on Brendan O'Connor a few weeks ago, and he taught us about VU breathing.
Oh,
Have
right.
you heard about VU
let's
breathing?
do it.
Yeah, woo, woo, woo. Okay, so he said that this brain sends 20% of signals to the gut brain, but 80% of your signals go from your gut brain to the brain or something like this. And so to get that vagus nerve working right, he recommends VU breathing. And so VU breathing means that we do an inhale, and then we go I went again.
I went to
You do
join
that
in
for
and
2
you
minutes.
started and I was like, I can't.
We're ready. We're always ready to go.
Ship has sailed.
I inhaled and I was like, okay, right, I'm going to join in. And I just burst out laughing straight away. And you just kept going. I was like, I can't keep this in.
It's very interesting because, to me anyway, it's very interesting that the more you do that anyway, the more like you kind of get this calming effect, and you will get the calming effect. But sure, look, that's up to you to try out. But as well as that, it's kind of linked to the fact that we, what that is doing is making us feel the connection to our gut brain or whatever. But as well as that, then Gabor Mate, he says that our unresolved trauma is because we're not connected to our gut brain. So we're letting the trauma heal by reconnecting with the vagus nerve. Now there's a lot going on here, and look, it's up to you. I think it makes sense, but look, I'm not going to force you into thinking. I think there's no way we can force people into thinking anymore. I think that's the only thing we can take from the 20th century.
Yeah.
We shouldn't. And I know that goes across everyone, because, sometimes these little waves come up in, you can't be doing that or whatever in like cancel culture or whatever. But like, I think at the end of the day, if we don't try and tell everyone else what to do, but we trying to live as best we can, will be okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You can't make people think a certain way, and you can't make people think a certain way about you. So you're better off just trying to make yourself happy first.
Yeah.
And then that'll reflect out.
Not everyone's going to like you. And like, it's like with me and baking cakes or like personal trainer or something like that. Like, you're never going to not everybody's gonna like you and get along with you.
Right.
So you have to just like be doing it for yourself and be happy with yourself instead of just trying to please everybody else around you. Everyone else has different thoughts.
Yeah.
How does propaganda work though? How did that happen in Nazi Germany if you can't influence other people's thoughts?
You can't. Well, that's because everything that it's like everything, Mark. When you say, as personal trainers, you probably say that, healthy eating or whatever comes from your environment. It doesn't come from a bad takeaway on a Friday. It comes from what you surround yourself with. But if you're surrounded with films that tell you a certain way, if you've radio advertisements that tell you a certain way, if you build a culture around you that says everything in a certain way, then that's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm
The
probably
right and left in America.
Yeah,
they get their news from
exactly.
Fox.
You have this,
Confirmation bias.
Yeah,
You only want the information that will confirm that you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that goes for everything. Look, we're all human. We're all victims of this.
Yeah.
This is a very good Joe Rogan there, and we're in a very interesting place for humanity, aren't we? Like in that when we look back and we look at maybe the likes of George Washington, and we look back and say, Janie, he was a bad man or whatever. Like, can we have we got to a stage now where the human being is perfect, and right now in 2021 everything is right, and we can look back in the past?
No.
But
don't do that with us.
But we're blind to our own fallacy in that, like, I don't know. I can't look at the world now and say, what are they going to look back and say, Janie, they were an awful, awful crowd altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, and it will happen.
Yeah.
But sure, people get cancelled now because of their tweets in 2012, don't they?
Yeah.
And people's thoughts change on a daily basis, let alone over 10 years.
It's just very interesting because I don't know. Because if we go on the premise that the human being is, like, in 30 years, what are they going to look back on us like?
Sure, who
They
cares?
started the TikTok. Who cares?
Yeah.
Start of the TikTok.
They're going to do it anyway, yeah. TikTok is wrong. Michael Collins didn't die, so grown men can make TikToks.
But maybe, like, no, I won't. I'm trashing it out now in my head, but, like, I'm just thinking, like, this introspection and looking back and, like, self-awareness or whatever. But maybe it's just going to be a case that, it's just the next TikTok. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. But I don't think that'll happen either. I don't know.
You were doing bingo again tonight.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Nice little segue there.
Yeah, I got a call on Friday night to be an emergency bingo presenter.
With who?
Ger Cush.
God.
There you go.
God. Yeah.
No better man. I'm glad to hand over the reins now to Ger. Next week, Ger Kush will be presenting it.
Guest presenter.
That'd be gas, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We could get Ger. Would he come on?
Oh, yeah.
Would he?
Oh, yeah. Sure, he did an Instagram video a while ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think I might have seen that for Wexford GA or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'd have Ger I'd say in his garden. It'd be a nice little one,
Yeah.
Ger Cush. See, this is the 25th anniversary. We're looking back in time, and, this is of 96. So we should just have, like, I don't know, the rest of the year should just be 96. I think that's fair enough.
We're out today now on our first commission job as well.
Yeah,
Moving up
very
the door.
exciting times.
Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what has become of us.
We've sold out.
We're sold.
It used to be about the podcast, man.
Here, never, always be about this, man.
It's that time of the year. I'm doing this purposely on a Friday. I'm going to predict the future. Right? Bank holiday weekend, long weekend, and I'm going to predict the future here now. The beaches and North Wexford is going to be full of gougers and shysters and cowboys in general, making a mess and blocking the roads and just doing all kind of yokes like that, causing a nuisance for locals. If there was a way for them just to, like, spend their money without causing a nuisance or making a mess or just being around in general, it'd be great. I think we need to come up with something like that, just a way for people to give us money and stay in Dublin. We'll come up with a subscription service or something. We'll send them an envelope full of Wexford sand, and they can stay in Dublin and put in their back garden. And geez, this time next year we'll be millionaires.
He's not wrong. Me and Breed went down to Kilpatrick there. We could hardly get parking. Full. Clone is full.
When he
Loads
said
of
Breed
road.
there, it was Breed Brown, not his mother Breed Halton.
Yeah,
Saying,
Breed Junior.
Junior.
I just find it so disconcerting. I'm just never sure if you go to the beach with your mother or your girlfriend.
Yeah. I've repressed the fact that my mother's name is as well.
Never. Sorry, does that say the flash flood? Yeah. So you think he's not wrong?
He's not wrong. Yeah, he's right. He proved that he manifested it.
Manifest.
He manifested it.
So you can manifest bad things. Oh, is it a bad thing? Well, it's a negative thing in that, he just thinks that the
He's
dogs
a
are bad.
dog. Sure, people around like.
No. So negative thing, he sees it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a small irritation, I suppose, that they're out in the middle of the
right.
road and like a few times I had to stop and reverse back into a driveway, let someone past. And, but sure, it is what it is, isn't it? Like,
Yeah. It is what it is. That means it's acceptance and WAP, and that's why we have the green platform.
The green
Who?
Shout out John Coyle.
Yeah, that's technical.
And shout out Declan Coyle as well.
Yeah. And what do you think of fast food?
He is right in a way, if that makes sense.
Right.
On this flash flood anyway.
Right.
I wouldn't say I initially agree every flash flood.
Yeah.
But he is right. Like Gorey Town, taking it away from the beach area, like Gorey Town yesterday was shocking.
Right.
It was so busy.
Yeah.
And like I live in the town and I find it hard. I know when it comes to like bank holiday weekends and the sun, and now especially with being able to travel out of the county, I can't get out of my like driveway.
Right.
We find it so hard to get out of my driveway, and I now can see where he's coming from. Like he knew coming down to the sort of the bank holiday weekend, he was like, it's going to be packed and beaches are just going to be full and you can't drive on the road and sort of everything like that. But like I do agree, but then I wouldn't say it is a negative thing.
Sure, aren't we lucky to live somewhere where people want to come on holidays?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we could live in Wicklow Town.
Really, Mac.
That's disaster.
Yeah. Love Wicklow Town.
Love Wicklow.
Wicklow Town will be messaging us down. Don't worry.
We heard you talking shit on the podcast.
But sure, when I was in college in Dublin, like when I was in dance college, I had people say to me, being like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I'd say like, "I'm from Wexford and I'm from Gorey." They're like, "Oh, do you know Courtown?
Yeah.
Or do you know Ballymoney? Like I know someone that has a mobile home down there, or I know someone that has like my granny parents or something like that."
Yeah.
And it was they always knew or always went on holidays down around here. I'm like, it's crazy to think that everyone knows someone or knows something about down here.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is just a really small
Even
town.
the simple things, like we've a lot to be grateful in terms of the economy. Like I'm sure James kind of touched on it, but like all the hotels in Wexford are kind of booked out at the moment, but the hotels in Dublin, they're pretty available. It's mad, and it was very hard to get down here because of traffic today. Now I didn't view it as a curse. I saw the Inch Creamery and that was worth it all.
Just not take it as a compliment. Everyone wants to be like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the way to be.
Yeah. I've said it a few weeks now. I think if we kind of became more laid back, and then we could be like the groovy southeast as well. We could let it hang out as well, and we can
Big on that expression.
Yeah. I love that. I have that expression. I just believe in it. I believe in it. Manifest it. Let it all hang out, paper chooses. Let it all hang out.
You know who's letting it all hang out? Liam Dunn.
Oh, great idea. Can I give you the parish of the week though?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, 1 second. Will Burton and Cambridgeshire, they'll be disappointed if I didn't mention them. Will Burton, yeah, they're in a bit of hot water there at the moment because anyway, there's a vote of no confidence in the parish council because they're accused of not being democratic, accountable, transparent. So yeah, it's not good there at the moment, but we think it's going to work out for Will Burton. We're thinking of the councillors at the moment. We think of the residents too because they feel aggrieved. It's all over a housing development, but Marc, love will prosper here, and namaste to Will Burton. And I'm giving a horoscope that everything's going to be all right. Okay. Liam Dunn.
Right, Róisín, pick a page number between 1 and 286.
1 and 286. 194.
Right, Michael, would you like to do the honours?
Oh, I'd love to. But I have to say that I was a little bit drained from talking hurling at this stage and was shocked that I couldn't even get away from it at the funeral, where the club members formed a guard of honour in Finton's memory. Finton has passed away.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to Finton. It gets a bit... you never really get over losing someone close, but time passes and lets you deal with it. So winning the Leinster final in Finton's memory was the next priority, and when we learned we would be up against Kilkenny, well, It made the challenge all the more spicy. Oh, what a great expression.
Yeah.
Because our current crop of players had never beaten them in a provincial final. See, there's always another line that just brings it all together.
So you started off real depressing, and I was like, I did not choose a good page here. And then spicy was added in, and just took it to a different level.
I like how he's phrased that there. Time passes and lets you deal with it. It's not time passes and it gets easier. It lets you deal with it.
Yeah.
What do you like there, Mark?
It makes sense, I suppose. Yeah.
Makes sense.
You have to get over it. Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yeah.
Man up.
Man up.
I take that back.
Namaste.
I think that's no, I think
We have a few bits to do now. Bits and bobs. We're off.
with messages.
Yeah. Off on the road. Now it's right, Mrs. O'Reilly.
Well, we finished by tasting the cake.
Oh,
You were
I'm
See, I knew by baking these, I was like, Mark's still not going to eat these.
Yeah.
Well, see, you have a strict.
I
I have a big meal planned this evening from Grizzly Pizza.
There you
Grizzly Pizza.
Grizzly Pizza. Philly Nolan, a friend of mine from Arklow, started a business in there. They do sort of bespoke takeaway foods now, burgers and things like that. And I'm yet to try it, so I said this evening I'll
Shout out to Grizzly.
Shout out to Grizzly Pizza in Arklow. So look them up on Instagram and you can order from there. You can pre-order it.
This is RK Cakes and Bakes that I'm just about to devour.
That's a fucking big bite. That was a good bite. You got half the Kinder Bueno in it too. Well,
Yeah, no, there's Kinder Bueno inside it. Like there's chopped up Kinder inside the cupcake.
And where did you get the ideas for this? Pinterest or?
No, I actually don't even know. Like I found like
Very
I see
creative.
recipes that I'd saved like from a few years ago and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I might try them. And then you might see it for like a different chocolate or a different type of say buttercream, and then I just kind of went with it and was like, oh, that will work with this and this.
This is very interesting. And they're all custom made in RK Cakes and Bakes. So this is like a dark chocolate, or not a dark chocolate, but like there's a rich chocolate texture in the cake itself, and then you have the looseness of what's going on top.
what are you getting notes of?
I'm getting notes of the white chocolate of the Kinder Bueno, yeah. But
An oaky afterbirth.
yeah, plenty of oaky afterwards going
No,
on.
there's
in
not.
Bantry,
There's no afterbirth in the
in
cupcake.
Bantry this weekend. That's it.
I need to use this as advertisement now.
Yeah.
Just that full saying of advertisement for RK Cakes and Bakes.
This has been special. Thank you, Róisín.
Thanks, Róisín.
No
Shout
bother.
out RK Cakes and Bakes. Look it up, Instagram, Facebook. Get your messages in, get your orders in. TTYL, look after yourself. Bye bye.